What's up, everybody? Hey, welcome to another edition of Mental Health Matters with Marty. Listen, we are having a beautiful day out here in Southern California. Hope that you all on the East Coast and down south, y'all are burning up out there. We are having this gorgeous mid 80s with a nice little breeze. You see the palm trees in the background blowing, but we just want to welcome you to another edition of Mental Health Matters with Marty. What's going on, Auntie? My aunt is on there. Hi there, Thomas. What's going on out there? Stay cool out there in DC, my brother. Stay cool out there. Listen, we are so excited as we are continuing this amazing series with Letters to Our Brothers and what that looks like. And as we're doing this interview with 44 Black men, listen, while you have a chance, I'm going to give you a few moments, y'all. Let us know you're there. Let us know where you're from. Let us know that you are watching. And good people, listen, get the message out there. Call all your brothers, your uncles, your best friend, your homies, your enemies, everybody out there, because this has been a series that you do not want to miss out on. What's good, James? Good to see you out there. Listen, y'all go follow Brother James Bush out there as well. He's got an amazing podcast that's out there and everything. But good evening, y'all. Hey, Dwayne, how's everything going? Listen, we are so excited to be continuing in this. I believe we are in week number 3. No, this is week number 4. I'm sorry, with this. And we've been having a great time just talking about in the climate of everything that's going on. Yes, Black lives do matter, but we want to emphasize Black men from all walks of life, from all patterns, because we want to change the trajectory and the storyline and be in control of our own stories of how society has seen us in the past, because we are amazing fathers. We are amazing entrepreneurs. We are amazing leaders. And we're so glad to be there and to share our stories with you. Mr. Miller, what's going out there from LA? Of course, Thomas, we know you in the DMV. But before we bring on my co-host, Jason T. Mahoney, the motivator, I want you to check this out. All right. Yes, we want to thank Rain Publishing for that amazing intro to the book, 44 Black Men, Letters to Our Brothers. So if you don't have that book already, you need to jump on Amazon or talk to these brothers that's coming on. That's it for Letters to Our Brothers, 44 Black Men joining forces to write. These are amazing stories, words of healing, wisdom, and encouragement. Listen, these stories have changed my life, and we've had amazing conversations. So listen, like, share, get the people on there. But without any further ado, I want to introduce my co-host for this, Mr. Jason T. Mahoney, the motivator.
What's going on, Marty? How you doing out there in good old Cali?
Yes, we are doing beautiful out here, man. How about you?
It's going good here, but we have some stormy weather. So, looking out of the back of your window, I'm like, man, we need to switch atmosphere. But it's going good here. It's been storming for about an hour now.
Okay, listen, come on, it never rains in Southern California.
Southern California.
Come on and join us out here. We love to have you. Where life is good. Yes, sir.
There you go. There you go. Well, we have to stay in the Carolinas. Nothing is finer than living in the Carolinas. Really? Nothing is fine in living in Carolinas. Where my Carolina people at? Make some noise.
We appreciate you. Nothing was finer than me kind of driving through the Carolinas. but they say y'all out there in Carolina are some good people.
We are. We'll feed you with some fried chicken, some collard green, and send you home with a plate to eat.
Yes. Okay, I'll take the plate. Yes, sir. We like salads and avocados out here.
Oh no. We're gonna give you some neck bone, and then we're gonna give you some potato salad that you can travel with that won't spoil.
Okay, moving right on. Jason, share with us again, for those who might be joining us for the first time in this amazing series, Letters to Our Brothers, that you are the one who you're the one who kicked this off, who had this vision. Tell us about what does this mean to you and why Letters to Our Brothers?
So the book Letters to Our Brothers, it was birthed out of pain, concern.
Mm-hmm.
I was making some decisions, career decisions in my life, and it was just going through some things. And so I traveled home to my hometown, which is Sumter, South Carolina. And so was just talking with my mom and my dad. And my mom was like, please get your stuff out of our house. You've been going from the house for years, okay?
Right,
so,
right.
We grow up as adults, and we just leave stuff at our parents' home. So I went out to the storage, and I started just going through some things of my yesteryears. And I found a letter that my childhood pastor wrote to me, and it was a real simple letter, but the letter just spoke volume, and it gave me the words that I needed to make the decisions that I needed to make in my life at that moment.
Right.
And after that, I kind of was processing it, was praying about it, and God just clearly said to me, if a letter of that magnitude could make a difference in my life, how great would it be for other Black men to receive letters and words of inspiration from Black men? So I put out a call and got some brothers to respond to the call, reached out to Rachel Renee with Rain Publishing. She enjoyed the concept, she pushed it, and she said, we're going to make this a bestseller. And here we are today with 44 Black men from across the world, all walks of life, standing as best-selling authors because we made the decision to say yes.
I love it. I love it. And I love that these men have taken charge of writing their stories from their perspectives to share their feelings, emotions, and their experience with that. Now, there is a horrible rumor. I ain't one to gossip, but I'm one to tell the truth. There's a horrible rumor that you are now the Black Godfather, that these brothers didn't have too much of a choice in jumping in. I ain't one to gossip, but there has been this rumor out for about 4 weeks now that these men didn't have a choice in whether they were going to be a part of this decision-making process of joining this book or not. Is there any truth to that?
So that's interesting because I see Brother Dwayne is on today. And so Dwayne, I think someone called me the Black Godfather, the Black Mafia or something like that. And so I was actually going to come on today with a ring. And I was going to say, brothers, here's the ring, But brothers
2 weeks ago said they were not kissing the ring.
Right, they said they weren't kissing the ring. So I'm going to make sure and get a ring to say, hey, I have the ring, just to get those facial expressions. but it's interesting. Right, here's the ring. But yeah, so it's interesting enough. From episode 1 up until, and I'm curious to see what's going to be said tonight. But
right.
From every episode, each brother has said, it wasn't a choice, and so Dwayne says
to confirm it is not a rumor. See, brothers is confessing they going down.
So right. So I think I'm gonna give everybody a ring for Christmas. But I think I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marty.
I need diamonds on mine. I don't want no cubics. I don't want no Swarovski crystals. I want the real McCoy.
Well, I know with a view like your back out your window, we have to be legit with you. We'll maybe go to Tiffany's and get you a diamond from Tiffany's.
Thank you. I want the blue box. Yes, sir.
Oh, gotcha. I think it's turquoise or something like that.
Yes,
so, yeah, I'll bring a green box. I'm kind of cheap sometimes. But interesting enough, that's been a common theme of that they were saying, when I reach out, you can't tell Jason no. And it's kind of interesting. And I actually kind of take that as like, wow, some thumbs up, because I coined myself the motivator, because that's the name I prayed with, and that's what the name that God had kind of ordained me with. And so when I work with people, I find the best in them, and I work with, and I pull that out. And so when it's almost like they have a dream and they want to live that dream, but not sure how. And then when I encounter them, I see that dream, and I'm like, no, it's not an option, because this is something that has been birthed inside of you, and I want to help you give birth to it. And so it's interesting. So I'm going to push them. And so no, they cannot tell me that they don't want to give birth to what is in them, because it's in them to give birth, because it needs to be to the world. So no, the answer, no, is not an option. You're going to live in your dream. When you encounter me, you're going to go towards your destiny. And I think, even when you and I have been speaking, like, Marty, you have a book inside of you, and let's make it happen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. No, it's not an option.
Yes, sir. I love the shameless plug of the book that's coming out. Stop the Stinking Thinking. Yes. Being naked and not unashamed. So that's what it's all about. Listen, we can talk all day, but let's bring on our first guest today. That is none other than Mr. KB, because I'm not going to mess up his name. KB, what's going on, Mr. KB?
Hey, it's been a long day, brother, but it's the highlight of my day. Thanks for having me on, brother.
Well, man, we are so glad that you are with us today and on here. So, is the rumor true that
Well,
Jason is the Black Mafia?
well, I thought that I was coming on my free will. But they said the mafia. I thought I agreed to everything with my own free will. But you know what they say? The mafia has a way of making you do things and feeling like it's your free will. They have a way of making you feel like it's your decision.
Right.
I thought it was my decision.
In working with him and he's coaching me on some things, I'm finding that there's a lot of things that are not my decision in my own book.
But did you think it's your idea though?
Well, he allows me to think that it is my idea.
Right.
Yeah. I had one title and he's like, well, what did you think about? And I'm like, okay, I got you. But we thank our godfather, Black Mafia Jason, for who he is.
The Mafia doesn't make any orders; he makes suggestions. He just suggests. What do you think about that?
Yes.
What do you think about joining me on this interview today?
Yes. So,
contributing to my book?
Mr. KB, tell us your story. What compelled you to join Mafia Jason in this, and tell us your story.
Mafia Jason, MJ. That's your new name, MJ. We're gonna call you MJ. Well, Jason called me up, and actually, to be honest, Jason is. I always known him to be a dynamic person. We don't talk much, and when he does, he talks with purpose, and he's very effective. I know that. So when he called me, I knew to take it seriously.
Right.
And when he gave me this opportunity to be part of, I knew he was the author of some of previous successful books. So when he called me and gave me an opportunity to be part of his next one, I jumped at the idea. I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to be a part of that. Right. But then he put the icing on the cake. Which he didn't say till later was, it's inspired by my direct ancestor, my grandfather.
Okay.
And that I found it as a way for me to connect with my grandfather in a way I never did. I was very, very excited to do that. I'm very honored to be a part of it, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. So talk to us about some more of your story and what you specifically wrote about it, especially as you're saying this tribute to your grandfather in that.
Well, my grandfather, we never got to have a lot of conversations. I was around him a lot, but we never got to have a lot of just one-on-one conversations. But mainly, but he was also very effective in my life. I just got to soak in his energy. I got to be around him. Right. Soak in his energy. And he passed before we could have a lot of any conversation, real long conversations. But I found myself always trying to find a way to connect with him even after he passed. I joined the organization. I joined a secret organization to where I did the same ritual he did, and that made me connect to him. And I remember when I was a kid, my grandfather used to always sit outside and contemplate. He would sit on his front porch and contemplate. And everybody knows about that Wasatch Highway in South Carolina. If you drove by there, you would see my granddad outside contemplating. He didn't have his Bible with him. He wouldn't read the newspaper. He just contemplated. And I would go outside sometimes. I would go outside to sit with him. And as a kid, I'm like, why are we sitting out here not doing anything, Granddad? And we're just thinking. But I later realized, that contemplating, that's kind of how you get to the next level. It's kind of how you discover new ideas, how you get in tune with who you really are. Just sometimes just sitting with your own thoughts. You get in tune with who you are. And later on in life, I became that type of person. I found myself contemplating a lot. And as I was thinking about what can I give? What can I contribute to this book? What can I tell my brothers who are going through pain? What can I tell my brothers who are going through pain to uplift them? And I just thought, the lies. If they just knew who they were, if my brothers just knew who they were, if my people realize how great they really are, they can shatter any obstacle in their way. Obstacle. I mean, because think about it, we've been told lies from the beginning, and I'm tired of it. Black people are lazy. Toxic masculinity.
That's good.
You were living in huts before we came and civilized you. They even have scientists. They even have scientists that go on saying that we are less intelligent, that we have a lower IQ. But through my research, I do a lot of reading. But through my research and my contemplation, I realized, and I can prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt, that all of that is lies.
Right.
In fact, when you begin to peel back the lies, you see that it's actually the opposite. We're actually great. We're actually amongst the greatest on this planet. Our capability and our potential is so powerful, and that's why they had to lie to us. That's why we were lied to. Because if we were brought into our potential, if you knew, black man, if you knew who you were, they know who you are. They know who you are. If you know who you were, you wouldn't have any trouble.
Love that.
You wouldn't have any obstacles that you could not overcome.
Yes.
In fact, I start my letter off with dear kings. I should have just been. That's the first lie there. I should have been honest there and said my negus, and negus Negus. It sounds like what we used to be called, but Negus means is Ethiopian for kings.
Gotcha.
That sounds very similar to what. Didn't that sound very similar to what we were called?
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they know who you are, black man. We don't know. Even my shirt. Even my shirt is a symbolic of a lie. Mm-hmm. I went to Mexico to go see the pyramids, the Yucatan, the pyramids from the Mayans, a couple of years ago, and the Mayans were giving us a tour, and these are very lightly melanated European looking people, and they're saying, yes, our people did this and our people built this, and I'm looking at the paintings, and the paintings look just like my shirt, and I'm thinking, so your people drew pictures of that look like John Amos from Good Times with dreads. Y'all did that. Okay, that's interesting. I would think that y'all would make pictures of people who look like y'all, but they made pictures of us. Why do you think they made pictures of people who look like us? Maybe we were those people.
So back up a little bit, so we can see the shirt in its totality.
You see the African looking. You see the African looking.
Right.
Hieroglyph, the big nose, like John Amos, like the daddy from Good Times, like John Amos. It looks like the rapper KRS-One. Anybody know KRS? That's how it looks like. This is not, and this is all over the pyramids, out in the Yucatan. This is what the images look like. The extant images look like.
But I think we even failed to realize too that the slave ships from Africa stopped in Mexico, stopped off in South America, stopped in Central America, that there are actually more Black-speaking Spanish people than there are English-speaking Black people in that. And as we know our history better, then we can get a better understanding of how global we are as people of color, as Black men, as Black women, and I love that, as kings.
Right. So, KB, when you think about the book in its totality, and you know the fact that your bloodline was actually the purpose that actually pushed this book. You know, your grandfather, you know, my childhood pastor, and you know, we grew up in church together. But when you think about the book and everything holistic, what do you think it means to Black men today? Black men today,
it's a push, a signal to awaken, to who you are.
Wow.
Okay.
No matter when, it's a signal. It's permission, but if you don't get a signal, if you don't get that permission, reading something, especially yours, Jason, recess is over. It's a push. Wake up. Wake up. Recess is over.
Wow.
Realize who you are. You have been lied to for all of your life. Wow. Your parents have been lied to. Your grandparents have been lied to. Realize who you are and how powerful you are. Wow. We can get the ball rolling.
But isn't that's so amazing that a lot of times we don't realize the power that we have within us. We don't realize the history that's within us, because as we fail to not know our history, we fail to move forward properly.
Exactly.
Yes.
Wow. Absolutely. And I know a lot of people, they talk about, you know, Black power, but like I said, as an avid reader, as an avid geek, I want to know more. Why, where's this Black power coming from? And that's why in my letter, I'm talking about books that I read. These are all proven things. These are proven things in my letter. It's not just a a motivational speech about how powerful you are. Everything I said in my letter is facts. Facts. You can look it up. You can see it for yourself.
Beautiful.
They can't hide it. They try to hide it from you, but if you search, the avenues are there.
Right.
So KB, now that you are a best-selling author, that you volunteered.
It sounds good. It sounds good. It doesn't sound real, but it sounds good.
You're a best-selling author that volunteered to be a part of this project. What's next?
Volunteer. I was like, yeah, volunteer. Yeah.
What's next for you? What's next for you? Best-selling author book. What's next for you?
Well, right now, I'm doing an internal cleanse. Physical cleanse. I feel like for me to get to the next level of my life and who I'm meant to be and my potential, I have to cleanse. I feel my Creator's telling me, get all the junk out of you. So I've been cleansing. I'm not gonna lie. I've gained a few pounds in COVID in March. I gained about 15, 20 pounds from March to June, but around June, I flipped it in June. I flipped it 1st of June, and I've been cleansing ever since.
Okay.
So right now, I feel like in order to reach my potential, to get more access to the things I mentioned in my letter, I need to have a healthy body.
Okay.
And that's what's right now for me. That's what's next for me. That is my ultimate goal for right now.
Awesome.
KB, I really love that because so often we forget about the what I like to call the pyramid of health, being physically, mentally, and spiritually cleansed in that, and making sure that we're eating the right foods and the right things, making sure that we are exercising physically and exercising our mind, as well as making sure that we stay connected to our Creator in that. So, man, I thank you for dropping those amazing words of wisdom on us to remind us we sometimes need to do a cleanse. And what does that look like for you?
So KB, we're gonna put you in the green room, right? But we're gonna come back and grab you. We're gonna, bring up someone else. But again, thank you, brother, for answering the call and volunteering to be a part of this project.
Thanks for having me, man. It's an honor.
Thank you.
Thanks for being voluntold.
By the so-called mafia.
Right. Love that story, especially the connection to his grandfather.
Right. Absolutely.
Which is so important. And with that, I'm grateful that my grandfather is still living, and the stories that he has, and just being around that wisdom.
Exactly.
They didn't speak a whole lot, but when they did,
exactly,
it was powerful. So tell us who's up next and why this young man.
So up next is my good friend, my fraternity brother. We're actually like brothers. The one and only Reverend John Ford, but I call him Ford. And so Ford, I can say, is one that's going to say that he volunteered to be a part of this whole entire project. But we'll see.
Let's ask the good Reverend Doctor to make sure he was not voluntold, but this
what's up, Ford?
Hey, how are you all doing?
Wonderful, man. How are you doing?
Good. Doing great. Can't complain.
Okay, can you set the record straight for us on tonight for your portion of being in this amazing book called Letters to Our Brothers? Were you mafia forced, or were you led by the Holy Spirit in that?
It was a little bit of in between. I would just say when he presented the idea, about it, we are very close, with frat brothers and good friends. So when he told me about it, I was very, very proud of him. And then he asked me to be a part of it. And I was really honored because I did want to tell my story. But I will say that as I got to write in my letter, the deadline was approaching. I had backed out because it was a lot.
Right.
Letter. And so he stayed on me, and I probably was one of the last ones to get my letter in. I'm not sure, but I know I can meet that deadline.
Well, listen, I know how it is when Jason strong arms you and wrestles you, blows up your phone, your email.
Absolutely.
Sending out hate signals, all that. But
standards and accountability.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Pastor, tell us your story. What did you write about, and why was that essential for you to tell your story the way that you did?
Well, I wrote a personal story.
Mhm.
It was one of something that I experienced during my childhood and pretty much how I overcame it. Um,
Mhm.
I've always wanted to tell this story because what happened when I was young was
Mhm.
I know that I was going to eventually tell, but I never ever really vocalized it.
Mhm.
Well, I wanted to get it out there for one, to let other young brothers know that go through similar situations that they are basically built on a legacy that I
Mhm.
just had a lot of faith. And it's my faith that got me through those events that occurred when I was young. And also, I wanted to talk to the young brothers whose fathers may not have been in their lives,
Mm.
talk to them about forgiveness and to really love your father regardless, because sometimes it's a situation where your father, I mean, it's not the, they may not know how to be a father.
Right.
So you have to praise God for your father regardless, because if it wasn't for your father, you wouldn't be here. So it
Right.
was one of the other things that I wanted to make sure that got out to young brothers.
Can I ask you that? How do we encourage so many? Because we've been given the negative press, if you will, that we are deadbeat dads
Mhm.
in that. But I know that there's been lots of surrogate fathers who have stepped up, and especially the role of a lot of men in the church have stepped up
Mhm.
to help those young men and those young girls who did not grow up with their fathers in that. So why was it so important that you tell that story?
Because one of the things that I see mostly when it comes to young brothers whose fathers are not in their lives, they
Mhm.
tend to have a lot of resentment
Yes.
and they carry it for a lifetime. And
Yes.
my situation was totally different. Um, if you read the story, there was some events that happened with my father uh,
Mhm.
that really I could have carried. I could have had a different attitude towards him. But today we have a decent relationship, and it's because I did a lot of soul searching. I did a lot of praying, and I realized that my father was young when
Mhm.
I was made, when I was conceived. He was very,
Mhm.
so he may not have known. I mean, he's human too. He was, he's allowed to make mistakes in life too.
Yes,
And
sir.
the thing is that I had to realize who ultimately is my father, which is the Lord.
Mhm.
So that has really carried me through the years.
Mm.
And so Ford, and I shared it with you when Ford had emailed me his story.
Mhm.
I found myself in tears, and I called him. I was like, "Bruh, I had no idea that you had experienced what you had experienced." And so I present to you the question also when you talked about being healed and everything of that particular nature. So if there's some young brothers who are out there now that
Mhm.
may be struggling with a relationship with their dad, that may not have their mom,
That's
or
good.
be in similar situations as yourself when you went through a childhood, what did you do to be where you are now and not allow your past or
Good.
your
Yes.
challenges to get you to where you are, couple master's degree and just doing great things? How did you get to that point?
Yes.
The way that I really got to this point was like I said, I did a lot of praying as a child. My family was very religious, so I knew the Lord.
Mhm.
But I often think about those that don't know the Lord, and I often, I just try to get young people to understand your history, understand the things that people went through before you. You're not the first person that's going through the situation that you're facing right now.
Mhm.
So sometimes you have to look towards those that have been or who have traveled the shoes that you're trying to travel, or travel the road that you're trying to travel, not shoes. But
Mhm.
sometimes you have to look to them to see how they made it through. And that's what I did. I just had my focus. I knew that, I've seen many things in my lifetime, and I knew that I was going to be successful. There was no turning back.
Mm.
There was no turning back. It was just push forward. Um, One of the things my story talks about is the death of my mother, and how at 14, I went into a room and found her dead and didn't know what I was going to do. And during that time, I did a lot of praying, and God spoke to me, and he basically told me, look, you're going to be okay. Through this life, you're going to go through many ups and downs, but I will always keep my promise to you. I will always take care of you if you just trust and believe in me. And that's how I stayed focused through the year.
That's beautiful, beautiful.
Wow.
How and I love that story, especially the story of perseverance and everything. How do we help? I'm in child welfare as well, and as a therapist, and I still work with group home boys. I just find so much joy in working with them and in a lot of our foster care system. How do we speak to that population, do you believe, Pastor, in that, especially how can your story, and I love it, help encourage a population that may not know Christ, that may not know their parents, but have totally given up in life? Because if we look at it, we don't talk about the suicide rate for our young Black men between the ages of, and I'm going to go, here's the shocking part, as early as 10 years old up to 24 has almost tripled in the past 10 years. But a lot of times we don't talk about that in that, and not getting on a soapbox, but how do we help, and can your story help young men who find hopelessness in this present world?
Well, one of the things I would say is that we have to be willing to share things that have happened to us. We have to be able to find a way to identify with the younger brothers. Be willing to, one of the things with adults is that we don't spend a lot of time sacrificing our time to spend with the young people.
Say that one again.
That's right. Exactly.
Of how they feel and what it is that they're going through. You wouldn't know this if you don't spend time with them.
Yes.
Time with them. You have to talk to them, encourage them, motivate them, encourage them to put their negatives into positive situations, focus on things that are positive in their life, but you won't know this if you don't spend time with them.
That's good.
You don't really truly tell your story.
Yes.
Can't fudge your story. You gotta just be truthful. For example, and it kills me because this happens a lot in the church. Church folks just sometimes forget where they came from.
You're teaching good right now. You're teaching good. You're teaching good.
So that's one of the things that we have to do is we have to be honest. We have to say, look, I have by the wayside. I've done the things that you're doing. Skeletons in my closet. I'm going to give you everything.
Pastor, don't make me pass the plate tonight.
I'm just saying.
Go back to Brother Michael Adams' comment.
Yes.
Michael Adams talk about, and I love it. Thank you, Michael, for that. Transparency is key.
Yes.
And I love it that we have to share our stories. We got to share our struggles. We got to share our mistakes to let them know it's all right to mess up. Because let the person who is out sinning and mess up, let you cast the first stone. Right. And what did the Bible talk about? The older brothers left first.
Yeah.
So I got to run, y'all.
Go run in the hot sun. Run in the hot sun. but when you talk about the church, and so being a pastor, I always put you on the spot with these conversations. Is how can the church deal with the issues that we have among some of our parishioners? For example, we in the Black church, we can speak in tongues so eloquently. We can shout and dance so eloquently. We can hoot, we can holler, we can do all these things, and our members are, enjoying the services. But what happens is the people are still broken. And I said to a pastor one time, how do you feel about preaching dead people to continue to be dead? And so how do we infuse the church to talk about mental health, talk about HIV and AIDS, talk about all these things that we sweep under the rug? How do we do that to help propel the African American community and restore the church back to the power that it once had?
I think one of the things leaders have got to do is get rid of fear. Talk about these things such as mental health. Be willing to just lay it all out there. I mean, I'm trying to be careful here.
Ain't no need to be careful. This is a minimum.
On church administration and church business, building funds and trying to build this and build that. We forget about the mental aspect.
Yes.
And I think that's so important. Have workshops, invite people to come in.
Yes.
Listen, I don't have an associate minister, and my thing is, if I did have one, I would always allow. When I did have one, I always allowed them to preach, but give them different voices other than the pastor.
Yes.
Sometimes you may need to omit. I'm not gonna say omit a sermon, but you may need to bring someone in to speak on mental health as part of a sermon, or it's a lot of stuff that we can do that we are afraid to do. We're fearful for one, and then a lot of people just don't want to face reality. It's just, so I could go on and on. Then you got a whole bunch of pastors that just want to be seen, the limelight. So it's a lot.
Yes, you're absolutely right. But listen, Pastor, I'm so grateful for your vulnerability and sharing that. Since most of the time it's a show, they need to stop covering things up. You're absolutely right. But that has been the way. You're right, and that's why transparency is so key in that. Pastor, thank you so much for giving us a glimpse of your story, and conceding to MJ.
And let me just say this, as I stated earlier, it was very it was very emotional because I never vocalized a lot of things. There's a lot more to the story, and I only gave a little bit. But I will tell you that by doing this, it was very therapeutic and
wonderful,
healing within myself, just being able to get some things out.
Well, I'm looking to the follow-up to your personal book.
Absolutely.
In that, because as we as more men start hearing stories of brokenness, but not the brokenness part, the recovery and the healing, to let other men know that they are not alone. The power of that story. We've always been a people of storytelling, and we've lost the art of that. And I'm so much into the one who controls the pen controls the history.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you. Listen, we're going to throw you in the back real quick, man, and we're going to bring you up at the end so we can beat up on Jason just a little bit more in it as well. But listen, God bless you and thank you, Pastor.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Wow.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Listen. You was trying to start some mess up in here. We ain't got time to start on that.
Look, that's a whole episode right there.
That's a whole episode on the church. I love it. Go ahead, read it.
When we start building the person, then we can build the people. Wow.
Yes, wow. That's good, Dwayne. That's good. Introduce our third guest here tonight, Brother Wayne.
Gotcha. So Brother Wayne Russ is like my little brother. I remember when he was born. But the thing about Wayne was
your age.
Right. But the thing about I think I found a little gray right here after I turned.
Hey, watch it.
I started plucking them out, but I heard when you pluck them out, more comes. But wisdom. But Wayne is like my little brother. I remember when he was born. And then by the time he was matriculating through school, I was already moved away, grown, living life. But I always kept in touch with him because there was something special about him. And so what I learned is he was doing public speaking. And so he was winning FBLA competitions. And funny enough, he was, when I was in school, I was winning the public speaking competition, all those things. And when my mom began to keep me up with what was going on, I took some of my books that I used when I was in FBLA and public speaking and won the awards. I shipped the books to him so he could use as well. So I passed that torch because he was a brother that is doing big things, and he's huge in Atlanta, just in the financial industry, just doing some really good stuff. So to sit back and see this brother fly and soar, I'm like, man, I remember when you was a little bitty thing running around church, but look at where you are now.
I love it. In the finances, he's going to have to give me $200. But without any further ado, come on, let's bring to our stage here tonight, y'all, Brother Wayne Russ II. Right?
Excellent. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. How are you?
Jason. You almost made me cry with that one. That was nice. I definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate it.
Jason, you brought someone to tears from not being forced into this, but by your side.
But no, this little brother, this dude, again, you know, I just remember my mom, because I would always call How's Wayne. I would even, when I would see his mom, when I would go home, I would see his mom at church. I was like, how my boy doing? And she was, well, he's doing this and he done won this competition. I was like, wow. And then I was like, look, I'm gonna bring you these books so he can use these books. And so I just appreciate the fact that he matriculated. And you know, a lot of times, and we need to get out of the stereotype. It's always talk about black men with sports and all those things, but this brother wasn't in sports, but this brother went a different route, and look at how successful he is. And so we celebrate, I celebrate that he didn't the grain that everyone else is going. He made a decision to set his own path, and look at him now.
Love it. Well, Wayne, listen, tell us about yourself first, and then tell us about your story.
Yeah, so as Jason kind of alluded to, I did graduate from Crestwood in 2015, Crestwood High School in Sumter, South Carolina. Went on to the University of South Carolina, where I double majored in finance and accounting. I graduated in May 2019, and currently I am at JP Morgan in their corporate client banking group. And in that group, we specialize in debt facilities for companies that have revenues of roughly 500 million to 2.4 or $2 to $4 billion. So pretty large corporations. They're mostly publicly traded. I've been there for about a year now, and I love it. So you know, that's what I'm doing now. But I also have a personal interest in financial literacy and just teaching that, you know, to the youth of our age, because a lot of times we don't get that in our communities. You know, that's not something that you're taught. You know, I've read a few books, and you know, everything in those books, you know, from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I will teach you how to be rich. You know, all these books, they teach you things that may seem like basics once you read it, but they're basics that a lot of people, especially in, communities of color, we don't have access to. So we learn these things so late in life, and we're already behind, despite everything. And, you know, that's added on to everything else that we're already behind in.
Love it. That's so powerful, because we are such huge consumers.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, we're consumers, but we need to learn to be investors. Yes, in that. Listen, you because I was listening to a interview the other day with who was on. We're talking about these athletes, and Shaq was on there, and he was talking about how we will spend $500 on a pair of Jordans, but will not spend $500 on a class or our education to make sure that we for a course in that, where that can pay off bigger dividends in the future. But we are so much on this immediate gratification in that. So, man, I salute you with Jason, and very proud to see young brothers out there. And I hear some businesses coming out of him.
Absolutely.
Already.
So, you know, we're going to push it. He's going to have a financial school where, you know, he's going to be able to teach people, and he'll be traveling across the world, you know, doing financial literacy. And he's going to be up there. Yeah, that's what he's going to be doing. You know, I'm going to push it, and know it's not an
I'm going to give you my son as your first client to go ahead and help him out, because we need you. See, he'll listen to you. He ain't going to listen to me. I'm your dad. You know, in that, and dad don't know no better. But that's beautiful. Love it when young men. So talk to us about your story. What's your story about in this Letters to Our Brothers, and what compelled you to join the Mafia Jason team?
So on your previous point, you know, a lot of times people my age and younger, they don't want to listen to, you know, no offense, but people who are older. So when Jason brought the idea,
wisdom givers.
Wisdom givers.
Yes.
So when Jason brought the idea to me, I said, you know what? I think that would be great, because I feel like I could have a better reach, you know, than someone that's more mature, because they'll listen to me, and I'm not far from where they are. You know, I was when he brought the idea, I was a senior in college. I was still in school. You know, I was 21, 22. So I said, I'm not that much older than a lot of the people that may read this book. So why not tell my story, or tell something that will help, you know, someone else get their life on track.
I love it. I love it.
See, he volunteered.
So well, it was a little voluntold. It was a little voluntold.
See, the truth keep coming out.
Yeah.
Tell the truth and shame the devil. Wonderful. That's so exciting. What compelled you and drew you to finances in that?
So I honestly owe that to my dad. He got
Come
his
on,
degree in
Dad.
accounting. So I saw, that aspect earlier on in life. And
Uh-huh.
I always just had this drive to make money, to earn money. So I knew I wanted to go into business at an early age. I just didn't
Okay.
know what area.
Right.
So I took my first accounting class in high school. It was 10th grade. And that class kind of gave me kind of the sprinkle of, okay, I want to do accounting when I grow up. I already know my
Right.
dad does this. I want to go this route. But once I got to college, I majored in accounting and I liked it, but I wasn't in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
I did an internship my sophomore year at a regional accounting firm, and it was a great position and I learned a lot. But for me, it was kind of too slow paced. So
Mm-hmm.
I said, let me try finance. I know there's this high world of finance where there's all these quote unquote sexy deals going on Wall Street. So I wanted in on that.
Did you catch that?
Right.
Money
I
was
wanted in on that.
sexy. He
Right. He
said,
said, look, learning how to
sexy
make
deal.
money, to earn money, and make the money.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
He said the sexy deals on Wall Street.
Marty, I think he's already on billionaire status, a trillionaire status. But
I ain't mad.
Yeah, I'm not mad. But just wave at us when you just wave at us. That's all we want to see. Just a wave.
That's beautiful, man. And keeping that up. What would you tell other young people about finances today? Because you get into college and they give you a credit card just on your registration. You ain't got to have a job. You ain't got to even have good financial aid. You just got to have a registration that you are part of Marty Sellers Community College. What advice do you give young people today as it pertains to their money, finances, and money management?
I think the biggest thing, and this may seem like the most simplest thing, but pay yourself first. Save your money.
Come on.
Don't spend everything as soon as you get it. When you get your paycheck, pay yourself first. It doesn't have to be a lot. Just maybe put $50 here and there, put it in your savings account. You don't have to start with $1 million or start with this large amount. Just start with something. And then once you start with something, you eventually build momentum. And, once you have a good savings goal, you can start investing. You can start building other businesses. You can start building other streams of income that will bring in that money that will then fund your luxuries. I like nice things too, but you have to know how to buy those nice things and when it's appropriate.
When you said key there, when you said pay yourself. And so a lot of people may think that pay yourself means that when you get your paycheck, go out and buy something or take yourself out to dinner to celebrate yourself. But pay yourself is meaning you're going to put some money aside. Why do you think that is a challenge for the African American community to sit back and actually pay ourselves by saving money versus going out and spending? Why do you think that is a challenge for the African American community?
I think it's a challenge because a lot of times, you may not have the money to actually save. And that's something that I see a lot because, in these, African American communities, in these communities of color, people of color, the resources aren't always there. So your paycheck may be all you have to pay all of your bills, to make sure your family doesn't go hungry. So I think it's less of a want to save, but it's I'm not saving because I can't. And that's why I say start small, because once you start small, you can build that momentum. And then you'll see other areas in your life where you can maybe cut expenses and then save that money as well.
That's it.
So with the resources being limited and a challenge in our communities, what advice would you give to us in the African American community how to expand our resources? So if I'm working that job that is only meeting ends to pay my bills, what advice would you give to anyone that's on the call that is in the situation now that is living paycheck to paycheck?
I would just say, try your hardest to just find areas where you can save. A lot of times, living paycheck to paycheck is a real thing, but it can also be a mindset thing. You're living paycheck to paycheck, but you're also eating out 7 days a week. You're also doing things that you don't have to do.
Right.
And, I saw this about maybe a month ago and it made sense. If you work 5 days a week, you work a regular 9 to 5 job, but you spend money 7 days a week.
Mhm.
2 of those days you're not getting paid, so you're actually going negative in your monthly net income and in your monthly cash flow.
Wow.
So think about that. If you're spending money 7 days a week.
I'm about to just hit the wall, because interesting enough that you say that. So pre-COVID, my coworkers and I, we love to go out to eat. We're just a group of people on our floor. We'll call other coworkers, say, hey, come down, we got some food in the office. And for 5 days a week, we would go out to eat and bring food in the office. And now in COVID, I done paid off so many bills, because I was like, wow, I was spending a lot of money in the office going out to eat.
Exactly. I can give you a personal example. Like I'm the same way. Like before COVID, we would go out to eat or, eat lunch every day. And when I sat down and did the math, even if it's something that, it's a cheaper option, I'm still spending, let's say, $5 for a Starbucks coffee in the morning. I'm spending $8 for a nasty salad downstairs, and whatever else I get throughout the day. So if you average it out to $15 a day, I'm spending $75 a week, $300 a month just on food. And that's not going out on the weekends. That's food during the week. So
that's good.
That's good.
It is. And see, I love it. People say that's wisdom. See, Wayne, you're dropping some wisdom on us,
right?
Making us rethink this whole thing. But you're absolutely right, because as people find ways of financing what they want and what they love.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because folks will call and say, can I get some free therapy? I'm like, well, let's. I'm not a financial planner, but I said, let's pull out some of let's review what you're spending your money. How much you spend a week on weed? Okay. How much you spend a week on alcohol?
That's expensive.
That you spend at the Shake. This is all men on here, right? At the Shake Club, because you ain't going in there just for the wings.
Because you're gonna be making it rain. You're gonna be throwing some dollars. So, yeah.
I said, listen, you give up your weed money, and then you got enough money to pay for therapy. But if we do those things, like you said, if we make coffee at home, which can be 50 cents a cup, as opposed to that $5 macchiato upside down, reversed, and everything else. I don't go to Starbucks at all. But in those things, we carry our lunch 3 times a week. Just little things like that can make such a. Man, you got so much knowledge in here. I can't stand it. That's beautiful, man. Beautiful thing. Definitely.
Wow.
Listen, go ahead, Jason.
No, I'm just gonna say I'm proud, Wayne. I'm super proud of you, man. I mean, again, to see young little boy. Remember when you was born. Hearing about your successes and now seeing you actually work into what you desire to your destination. Super proud of you, man. I know Miss Jack is proud.
Yes.
Hey, Miss Jack, if you on.
Yes. So listen, if those of you who are on here, y'all need a financial planner. Now he ain't for free, but
that's his business. Go ahead and push it out there. We got a financial planner. We
got a financial planner on here who's gonna help you get to where you need to be. Listen, let's bring everyone back on. I was gonna say on stage. I'm in here. Yes. KB, and we got Dr. Ford up in here, and y'all need a financial planner. This young man is ready to make our lives so much better.
Absolutely. That alpha stuff.
No.
Now, Marty, I will say he did everything I asked him to do. He did the public speaking, and he did every single thing I asked him to do. When I saw his probate show, I was in tears. I called him and was like, "Man, what have you done?" I was like, my heart was broken.
He saw the light, man. You came back. He saw the light.
My heart was broken. I was like,
I can't even join this conversation.
I was like,
you influenced him to make right choices all his life, and he made the right choices all his life.
I was like, I was your mentor, man.
You influenced him to make the right choices all his life and to think for himself. Yeah.
And then he came out doing that snake stuff, but all is well.
Anyway, I was a rebel. I was a GDI, so it didn't even matter. Listen, each week has been so powerful. Hearing all of your stories
Yes.
with that, and what if we had love it. This is my auntie says, glad to see this young man who's doing great. Keep up the good work. See, man, listen at you. Yes, yes. This was great. Yes, thank you, Curtis. This is great. With that, why should people buy this book, Letters to Our Brothers, and what difference do you want to see it make in the lives of these young men and other men? Dr. Ford, let's go with you first.
Well, I think the book is very informative. You have stories from all walks of life. And I think it would be great for a lot of young brothers to receive this book and just pick it up and read, to identify with one of the authors or more. So that's one of the reasons why.
Excellent. KB.
You should buy this book, or you should get a copy of this book, because it's your one-stop shop. It's everything you need for a black man. You have the motivation from Dr. Ford. You have the push from Jason. You have the information from me, what I like about Wayne, brother Wayne. What I like about he gives you information. He gives you step-by-step instructions on what to do to get your life into the next level. I love that. And what I said in my live when the book first came out, you know what? If you're a mom or dad reading for your son doesn't read, it doesn't matter. Get the book anyway. You don't even have to read it, because the energy coming off this book is so powerful. The energy coming off this book is so powerful. They're going to soak it in, and eventually they're going to feel that energy and say, "What's this? What's this?" Okay, and they're going to go to the letter that they need. That's going to uplift them.
Yes, that's good. That's good. Wayne, talk to us one more again.
Yeah, I'm going to share two quotes. So the first one is, you can't be what you can't see. And then the second one is, with a book or with podcasts, with everything today, you can have any mentor you want. So I think with this book, you have 44 African-American male mentors that are at your disposal. So, whether you have these mentors directly in your life, you can have them through this book. And I think it'll just provide so much value to, the lives that it'll reach. So I think it's extremely important to just have this book.
Wow.
That's great. That's great. Oh, it says, Mama is proud. Come on, Mama.
Love you, Mom.
Hey, moms.
We ain't mad at moms. Yeah, everybody got their mamas rooting for them. Thank God for mamas. In there. So, Jason, tell us again, how can we get this book, and how can people get this book from these individual authors themselves as well? Get a signed copy. I done already bought about 44 signed copies now. I can't take it anymore.
Absolutely. So, audience, you can actually reach out to any of these brothers directly that's on the call. You can reach out to Wayne Russ. You can reach out to KB Bird. You can reach out to John Ford. And you can reach out to these brothers individually and purchase the book directly from them. Or you can go to Amazon and search Letters to Our Brothers, 44 Black Men, and it'll actually come up there. So you can order it off of Amazon, or you can reach out to any of these brothers and get the book directly from them.
Love it. Love it. So if you have not ordered your copy, y'all, you need to get your copy of this book. It is so powerful, and what we do here with it. So listen, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. You have definitely encouraged me.
Thank you.
Listen, we this won't be the last time. We got the Mafia Man on here, so it ain't the last time.
Right. Every round gonna go higher and higher.
And higher and higher. Each round, it does go higher and higher with that. So listen, thank you guys so much for always joining us on our weekly show of Mental Health Matters with Marty. Listen, you can always stay in touch with us by texting I Matter to 31996. Again, you can text I Matter to 31996 and be informed of every time that we come on as well. And we also want to invite you to check out our podcast, Mental Health Matters with Marty podcast, on Apple, Google, Spotify, and every podcast outlet that you can. We would love it if you would give us a 5-star rating and leave us a review with that. But again, Mental Health Matters with Marty. We want to stop the stigma of suffering in silence, but we want you to speak up speak out, and live. Thanks again. Listen, join us next week for another edition of this Letters to Our Brothers, 44 Black Men. Please like and share. Get the word out. We want to thank our guests on today for coming out, sharing their powerful, powerful stories, because it is about our stories and sharing our stories of wisdom, of success, of financial freedom, of empowerment, that we are men who care, who are concerned, and who love. Until next week, y'all, thanks so much. We'll talk to you then. Be blessed.